Hello CBL Soap fans, CBL here. I'm going to do a quick demo on doing a face lather of CBL Soap. Okay, there's two ways of basic ways of lathering. One is to lather directly on the face with a brush. The other is to lather in a bowl with a brush and then apply the lather onto the face. I prefer doing a face lather because it doesn't dirty as many things in the morning, but it also does a good job of working up the beard and setting it up for a good shave. It can be easy, but if it's new to you, it may be difficult, and I would suggest perhaps planning to do a combination face and bowl lather. Start on the face and then go to a bowl to finish it up so that you get you can tell how wet the lather is. That's a good way to learn. Okay, we're going to start by just wetting the face. So we've got a wet face, nothing in particular, just enough to be dripping. We're going to take our brush, we're going to squeeze out, this is a badger brush, we're going to squeeze out all the water and give it a shake so there's no water coming from it. Okay, I haven't shaken it really hard, but there's not a lot of water. Starting with a dry surface, hasn't been bloomed. And we're just going to load the same way we would if we were bowl lathering, something 10 to 30 seconds. The idea being load enough into the brush for your brush. This is a bigger brush, so it can take an awful lot of soap. If you're using a smaller brush or a synthetic brush, maybe use less. Okay, so we've loaded for 10 seconds or so. I'm going to dip the tips in water so that there's still no dripping, but the tips have become wet. And I'm going to load a little bit more. Okay, and you can see that the surface gets a little bit, there's a little bit of a proto-lather built. Okay, so we've got plenty of lather going there. Make sure my face is wet and start lathering. Okay, it builds fairly quick. What I suggest you do is think like you're lathering the brush, not your face. The idea is to work the brush so the brush fills with lather. In doing so, you can get lather on your face too. Okay, so we've got as far as we can without adding water. We're going to drip a little bit of water into the brush and continue. You don't have to use swirling motions if you're opposed to that. You swirl, sometimes you get a little bit of a cavity, but that cavity can be a good place to dribble a little bit of water. Another benefit of face lathering is I'm enjoying the smell right now. Try to make CBL soaps so that you can smell them with your bowl lathering and have the bowl, held on the counter. Try to get a strong scent, but this is best. Okay. You can see now, if I paint, that I have a lather that many of you would consider good for a DE shave. Okay. It's plenty wet, and it's got some volume and cushion. I recommend a little bit more water. Now you can dribble it on, or you can dip. I usually dribble what you saw there, give the brush a little flick so that if there was any dripping water on it, it would flip off. I like to load it slower. Okay, we can see got plenty of volume here. And we could go wetter still. Okay, just going to give the tips a dip and go this way. And you can see how this would have to set up the beard for a better shave. Prep. All right. If you are a hot towel person, someone who enjoys to do a little bit of a hot towel, this lather here would be a good base to do a hot towel. Take your hot steamy towel, wrap it on your face, Frito Bandito like Dave would say, and leave it sit for a minute or two. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this off and show you what it looks like when I would come back for maybe a second pass or after the hot towel lather. Just a quick rinse. Okay. So my face is wet, and I'm not going to dry it off. Put my glasses on so I can keep seeing y'all. And just come back and do the same thing. A little bit of a scrub and paint. Okay. Now, if you notice, the lather looks thinner, but if I paint it, it thickens up. There's plenty in the brush, but this is what it would look like if we had more water earlier on. So that's face lathering. Feels good. Does a good job setting the beard up. There's plenty of lather. Okay. And you can feel it and control it. Okay, so that's face lather 101.